Welcome back. I'll continue from here. The next thing I would like to talk about is the exams. There will be midterm and final, and I set the dates on these days. So the midterm is right after the spring break, and uh, final exam is the last Friday of the final exam period. I avoided Saturday because I guess some of you may want to travel on Saturday, May 15, so I intentionally chose Friday, May 14. But we have a small class, so if you want to change the date, if you have any conflicts with other courses, let me know. I am willing to change that. Yeah, but it is quite flexible because the exams will be take home. So I will upload the exam questions on Blackboard, and you have like 24 hours to work on the questions. And of course, again, you have to type your answers and submit the answers to my email. You I It's 24 hours is not strict. I think I can allow more time, but having more than 24 hours would not help at all. Uh, and of course, cowork is not allowed. That's serious cheating for the exam. And yeah, that's it. It should be. And so the date is not that important. Anyhow, I'm going to post the exam on April 6th, and you can submit that on April 8th. So uh, I don't know. That's my kind of plan, and it's flexible. I don't mind making it more flexible. So let me know if you have any better idea or any potential problems in this plan. So last year I used the take-home exam. I had a final take-home exam, and it worked fine. So I believe there is not a big problem in this schedule. Uh, and grading is based on this percentage, but actually it's not a big problem and not a big deal. In a PhD course, grade does not matter. I No one will check your grade at all, and I'll be very generous. So if you get B minus from my course, then you are being insulted. That means you are kind of D in an undergraduate course. So I have never given a C in this course, so I'll be generous. Don't worry about the grade. But of course, it doesn't mean you don't need to study. You have to work hard enough and show some kind of basic respect toward this course and basic kind of effort to learn and understand the materials, then you should be fine. And asking me questions, and I'm willing to help. If you cannot solve the homework, just come to the office hours. Uh, then that will be good enough. So don't worry about grades. Worry about your understanding. The main concern is not the grade, but your your knowledge, your learning. So that's my point. Simple outline. And, of course, always the outline could be modified later. And basically, I am going to review briefly to set up notation and to give you a big picture and the background knowledge you have learned from Econometrics 1, but you forgot. So I'm going to review them briefly. And I will touch identification. Maybe to most of you, identification is a new topic, but in, indirectly you have the idea. But I will formulate a general identification issue, and then we will extend the idea to regression model, which will be about the endogeneity and instrumental variables. I don't know how many of you have heard about this, but this is it. And then we'll consider estimation problem And we are going to consider very general setup, extremum estimator setup, and generalized method moments, GMM. And also we study general setup for hypothesis tests. And then the final three chapters are more specific models, which can be applied to specific cases. So simultaneous equations model, quantile regression models, causal inference models. These models will be, these part, the last three parts would be more useful for your dissertation because it's more applicable model, directly applicable model, but still we need to understand the basic setup and how the argument goes. So, so you can think the first five points are about general theoretical abstract framework, and the last three chapters are more applicable and more useful models, actually used models. Of course, like the methods you learn in the first part is also useful, should be widely used, but just as a contrast. And let me briefly talk about my teaching style uh, that I have in my mind. I view myself in this way. Like what I do here is I do not like to teach the details because it takes time. That's boring, and details are important, but it does not help better understand your model. So if you understand the key idea, details will follow. It's just a matter of time. So I try to give you a bigger picture, and I try to set up a framework so that you can put details inside the framework. So it's your job to fill the details uh, inside the framework that I give you. So so in I tried I will use usually I'll consider simpler examples, like let's think about one variable case or two variable case, or just assume that everything is like has mean zero. Ignore this problem, ignore that problem, because in the essence of the idea, the essential idea is delivered can be delivered in the simplest model. Extension from there is important. That's what you have to do in your dissertation, but that's not a big problem once you master the simple model. Once you understand what's going on in the simple model, the next step, the generalization and the extension, is just a matter of time, your effort. And if you when you need that, you can then start extending the model. However, the problem is if you do not understand the simple model, then that's the end of the world. You cannot do anything from there. And also, frankly, I think I'm using simple models, but it's actually not that simple to some of you. So, but I'm telling you, the models that I give you as an example is a simple model. Your actual model in the future in your dissertation, you will be using much more complicated models. So, uh, so work hard. And and I know that many of you are going to do applied work, not theoretical econometrics. So I do not, I don't think proofs are important for applied researchers. Understanding proofs is important sometimes, and but it is important because you have to see why we need this assumption and what's the main problem here. So when like you have to understand the proof to see what happens if this assumption breaks down, something like that. You don't need to memorize the technique, the details of the proofs. So, but still, I am going to show you some proofs which should be simple enough. But there are some complicated proofs that requires details and more background knowledge, I'm going to do that, but I will put less time. I will spend less time to explain that. I will try my best to simplify the proofs and the structure of the proof. So hopefully I I hope you to uh, love the plan and you are now PhD students, so you are different from undergraduate students. When I'll do my best, and please follow me and don't be don't get lost. Work hard, and if you need help, please ask for help. Then I am willing to help you. Then in the next, by the way, I do not have a required textbook. I list several textbooks in the syllabus, and I have. Oh, I should bring. Many textbooks are in my office. Like, if you wanna buy one, then maybe you may want to buy this. It's not that expensive. It's like $30, $20 to $30, and this is good for applied people, applied researchers, and very easily simple, well written without much mathematical equations. So it is easy to see. And later in your dissertation, I think many of you are going to use some of the models introduced here. So it's a very nice guidebook to you. And if you think you need an introductory, easier level textbook, then I I would recommend Stark and Watson, Introduction to Econometrics. This is for undergraduate students, but still you will need undergraduate level econometrics in your dissertation. So if you do not have one, if you want some recommendation, I would suggest this. And there are a lot more PhD level textbooks. I have almost all of them, but I will combine them and make my own materials. And Professor Bruce Hansen at University of Wisconsin at Madison has a very nice online lecture note. The online lecture note is nice, but it's very theoretical. So still it has that value. It's valuable, and of course it's free. It's online lecture notes. So if you are interested, you may use that. And I will provide readings if needed. So don't worry much about textbooks. If you want more references, let me know. I'll be suggesting more. Okay, I will stop the video here and I will continue. I will talk about a different topic in the next video. See you.